Hello there. Who speaks Russian here? Because I want to play a short clip, or maybe I'd rather not. But the clip itself is that the Russian president was talking about the fact that Africa will never forget that the West caged its children, and that is the latest news from there. Now, it came out of a plenary session. And you know that when the Russian president is answering questions during these kind of forums, they go viral. So one of the questions that were asked is how Russia is working to restore relations with Africa to the level of the Soviet era. And his answer was simple. He said that African countries still remember Russia's help in the struggle for independence, and that Russia had never acted as a colonizer. And then he went ahead to say that also Africans still remember Western brutality and the ruthless ways that Western countries, exploited Africa. And during the questioning and answers, he even gave an example that not long ago in 1958-57 there, people from Africa were usually taken to Europe in cages. And he went ahead to say that you can't watch that without tears. Seeing children sitting in cages displayed in front of everyone to see. So that's what the Russian president said. And no one in Africa will ever forget it. So in this case, he was referring to the human zoos that existed in the 50s and the 60s in places like Brussels, in Belgium, in France, Paris, and even in the United Kingdom, London. They used to have a zoo there, and this zoo used to have a certain special feature called the cannibals, and people would pay to go watch African kids in cages without clothes, and basically they were being referred to as African cannibals, and people would come to watch them. And in the separate pens, you would see monkeys, other pens with hyenas. So Africans were treated like animals. That is something that I think we will never forget, actually. And here is the thing, the West sometimes wonders how the Chinese come to Africa and easily get welcomed to almost every country on the continent. 55 countries in Africa welcoming the Chinese, and now it's the time for the Russians, and almost every country is also opening doors for them, including countries that everyone knows they are affiliated or they align themselves with the West. Countries like Kenya, Rwanda, Ghana, they are also opening doors to Russia because of the history. Because when you look at the Chinese, you don't, as an African, you don't remember any time in history the Chinese came over to Africa to hurt us. They never enslaved us. They never attacked us. They never stole from us. We only sold, lies and imaginations in the media, Western media, that the Chinese will one day, capture us because of these debts. There's nothing like that. They have never done it. And some countries have so far defaulted, and they have never captured those countries. And then here we have the Russians coming to Africa, and every country is opening the doors to them. Because the West, one thing the West do not get is that Africans have never forgotten the atrocities that were committed by those Western countries for more than 100 years of colonization. We've never forgotten.